Hi there. Okay, on this video, boy, this one has beaten me for probably a decade, and I have the solution, and I know it's going to help anybody else that's dealing with the problem of having websites hosted on their server within their business, within their location, most importantly, within their internal network. And their websites won't come up on the inside. They only come up from the outside world. So maybe you find yourself logging into your Windows host file or your operating system and you're at a bunch of domains like this in order to get things working. I tried with a proxy solution, and a proxy may indeed be a wonderful solution, but the DNS split was certainly the best solution for us. It does require that your server is currently your DNS server for your internal network. Now, if your server is not your DNS server, unfortunately, this video is not for you. If you're using Samba and you're using an internal DNS server, maybe you have a domain environment, this is what's going to solve it. Create a DNS zone for each of your subdomains or your domains if you don't have any subdomains. By just carrying out this command, localhost is a key. You have to have that in there. Your subdomain or just your domain and extension. This is the website that you're trying to reach. Username, password, whatever your password is for your Samba environment. Create an A record. Following this same type of advice. You're going to be putting here the internal IP address of your server, of your DNS server. And then again, the user administrator and whatever your password is. I say your domain password, it's your Samba, in our case, domain administrator password. Now, we have found, even though that was set up, that we went to Firefox, opened it up, and the site still did not come up internally, and that was because of this. Firefox and presumably some other browsers are going to be doing the same thing. They are providing DNS server pointers within their software, within the browser, so it circumvents anything that you're doing locally. And they say that they will be checking for certain functions that might be affected if this feature is enabled, but the test has failed in our case. Specifically, they talk about default DNS resolvers and so on, that they're trying to test for the existence of this so they don't step on you. But in our case, they certainly missed it, and the internal websites were still not displaying. So we could have manually gone in here and unchecked this feature of enable DNS over HTTPS, which is now a default thing with Firefox. But instead, we created a new zone with each of these URLs, because these, in the case of Google, it's using, in the case of Firefox, it's using this one and this one as the defaults that they supply. And then we've got Google to consider, and then there's some other ones that our research has indicated are a possibility as well. So we have created a zone for each one of these. And you're going to need to put your password after that or answer the prompt when it prompts you. And by putting all of that in there, these other URLs in Firefox, this overrides Firefox's behavior and Google's and Edge and anybody else that might be using these URLs. You can always add to these over time. But do this, your problem solved, your internal domain comes up. Your external domain, in our case, has a DNS provider that is Cloudflare. I mean, you could be using GoDaddy, you could be using your own Microsoft or web-based, cloud-based server, AWS, whatever it may be. They'll continue to work completely normal. What you create there has no effect on what you do internally. So that's it. I hope that helps somebody. That has been our experience with DNS split, and we highly recommend it.